You are doing the 30-day soaking challenge, and this is all about helping you understand what magnesium shines the light on. Because as you soak during the 30-day challenge, different things are going to happen. And sometimes it's easy to say, oh, the magnesium did that to me. But that can actually be playing the victim. We need to understand what magnesium is communicating to us. And when we understand, then we can course correct the deficiencies in our body and we can build a stronger foundation because creating health is all about building a stronger foundation. It's ridiculous to chase symptoms. Well, I think it is, in my opinion. Chasing symptoms leaves you sick, exhausted, broke, and with a cupboard full of supplements that you don't know what the heck they're doing for you. You don't take them, you end up not taking them, and you can't remember why you even bought them. So let's leave the chasing behind. We're bombarded all the time with marketing to chase symptoms. And so, literally, we have to take our power back and we have to make that decision. I am building a strong foundation and I'm not buying into chasing after all of these different symptoms. Because as you build that strong foundation, the beautiful thing is a lot of those symptoms go away. So I'd love to know, where are you at on your 30-day soaking challenge? Are you just kind of figuring out, is this something I want to do? Are you almost done with your magnesium challenge? Have you done this numerous times? Is this your first challenge? Let me know where you're at. Now, while you're typing that in the comment section, let me tell you a little bit about me. My name's Kristen. I'm the founder of Living the Good Life Naturally. And it was founded because 20 years ago my health crashed and I was in a wheelchair having seizures. It was a mess. And I needed to heal broken patterns in my lifestyle choices. I needed to make long-term decisions instead of short-term decisions because they both have benefits and consequences. Those short-term decisions do help you quickly, but usually in the long run, they're not beneficial to building that strong foundation. So, this 30-day challenge is about starting where it began, and anything in your body that's not working, the very first place it went off was a problem with your magnesium. And that's everything from addictions to depression to autoimmune to thyroid. Anything I've ever, all the classes that I've ever taught, I'll say, throw it out to me. What are you dealing with? In fact, let's see. I'm not seeing comments. Let me see if I can go to them. Oh, hello, waving hello. I have taught a lot of classes over the 20 years, and I've never had anybody yet throw out anything that didn't start with a lack of magnesium. So let's just go to where the problem started and course correct. So that's what this is about. And specifically, this last couple days and the next couple days coming forward, because I officially have the 30-day challenge on post-it notes. I don't know if you can see those. I'm rearranging my office, and so everything's weird, all the light and stuff. So I don't even know if you can see those, but everything's written out on a post-it note, one sentence. So I know what I'm supposed to be focused on. And the next couple of days, we'll be focusing on what magnesium shines the light on. So this is a great time for you to share what's happening to you on your journey of soaking in magnesium. What feedback are you getting from your body? Because it's so important, if we want to build that mind body connection, that we're listening to the feedback no matter what it is. And today's feedback is, Kristen, when I soak in magnesium, I cannot go to sleep. I'm wired. Now, this one, oh, this one took me a long time to figure out what it was. And I really want to be careful. And for those of you that are here, Sandra and Lorene and Sherry, and the couple others of you that have hopped on, I want you to throw up a "I promise I won't do that" in the comments, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing you. I'm just saying, so far, this is the pattern that I see, and this one can freak people out. And we all have it. In fact, there was a study of um, taking time for yourself, like to soak at night. Oh, I absolutely love that, Sherry. Taking the time for yourself. And we do have to put ourselves first to create help. Okay, Lorena, I love it. Lorena says, I promise. So far, the pattern that I see, and this one can freak. It can, Christine. It absolutely can. Okay. Oh, Rennie says, I promise. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, because I'm not diagnosing. This one took me a long time, though, and there's a lot of money and time invested in figuring out why, because I want people to have a great experience and I want them experiencing better health as they get their magnesium levels up. Now, if you think you're going to have perfect health, you won't experience any health because you'll be wasting so many of those 100 energy points on looking for perfect health that you'll miss the nuances of better health. So I'm not about perfect health. I'm about better health, better health. So let's focus on better health, not perfection. And I want you experiencing that with magnesium, but good grief, it's the chill pill mineral. Why, when some people soak in it, would it keep them awake? Like, not just awake, but I cannot sleep after I soak. And again, there's two pathways for this. One pathway is super simple, and it tends to involve a pattern, and it's a pattern that we all have. So I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm talking, we all have this pattern, and that is being a people pleaser. Now, how much we play that pattern is up to us. But I have noticed over the last 20 years that people who are people pleasers tend to get a little wired after the magnesium. And that's because that people pleasing pattern can get us so caught up and focused on other people that we push our own bodies past the point of exhaustion. So our adrenals get so tired. And so that pattern can play a role. But here's the role that took me a long time to figure out, because I had to have a lot of people tested. And so I'd reach out to them and say, "Hey, if I pay for this test because I think I know what's going on, but I've got to have some data, because I'm not about just doing things because I hear about it. I want some data. I want to know. Um, I want to know, is that working? What is it doing in my body?" And so I needed that data to be able to say, "Oh, okay, this is it." So many times when you're soaking in magnesium, and you can't stay awake, it's a heavy metal issue. And I think I started on this and I got off topic. Huh, imagine that. So babies, there was a study done on babies and actually their cord blood. So after they were born and the cord was clamped, they tested their blood. And I can't remember how many years ago, but lots of years ago, there was like 18 chemicals. The last cord blood test that was done that was large enough to be credible, almost 300 different heavy metals and chemicals in that cord blood. Now, mom would not test for that. So when they test the cord blood and they test mom, mom isn't testing as high. And so the prevailing thought used to be that the baby was protected from that. But those studies, there's been numerous done, sizable studies show baby is not protected from that. And so we need to step in and make a difference. I was listening to a podcast today, and the United States is now the highest cost in care and the lowest quality. So we pay more and we have the lowest quality and poor outcome. That's not that we have to make a difference. And so this live is hopefully helping you to take action to help me make a difference in the lives of children. Because when we have heavy metals in our bodies, they don't work well. They don't function to their peak potential. And if we have people walking around not operating at their peak potential, we're missing out on the core of who they are and their accomplishments and the things that they could bring to the world. And maybe there's somebody out there who's going to absolutely cure cancer, but they're not feeling good because of all the heavy metals. Now, before you freak out and think, oh my gosh, I have to do a whole heavy metal cleanse. Actually, I don't think you do. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts and opinions. And over the last 20 years, the women that I've seen that have cleared up, that have tested high in heavy metals, mercury, aluminum, and arsenic were my three highest. And those tend to be what people have is, and there's many more that you can test for, but those were my three highest of all the ones I tested. There's a really simple solution that we're not following through on. So, my challenge to you is before you run out there and you pay to have your heavy metals tested and you buy this expensive heavy metal cleanse, is that you make sure the basics are covered first. The basics. That's what we do in Core 7. I'm really excited about our call tomorrow. Let me know if you're on, if you're in Core 7. I'm really excited about the a couple of topics. I sent them out today in an email. Um, a little bit, yes, Sherry, but it's not enough. It's not enough. But yes, it does help, but not enough. But here's the basics of heavy metals, and that is fiber. And you get that from food. And the cool thing is you get that from food easily, easily. So sometimes here's the disconnect that I see. We can say, "Oh, I'm doing all this stuff to get healthy and you bought this package and that package and this bottle of stuff and that bottle of goo, but you don't have your basics in place." Get your basics in place. I'm begging you. I'm being a little more bold. That podcast today really lit a fire. Get your basics in. Get your basics in. Chew your food. Chew your food. Chew. Get fiber. Now, I see a real difference when you get 30 grams, not milligrams, 30 grams of fiber a day. And that's going to take you a little bit to do that, some figuring out. So you can go Google high fiber foods and you can pick the foods that you love. For those of you in Core 7, oh, yay, Sherry's in Core 7 tribe. I love it. I love it. And a group of amazing women. So Sherry knows my love of beans because beans are a really special fiber. And when you have enough fiber that's going from the small intestine into the large intestine, and when there's fiber that's moving through, you improve your bile function, which helps with parasites, and you balance your hormones because you're taking out synthetic estrogen. It attaches to that fiber and you're clearing out heavy metals. So your bodies build up naturally to take care of it. But if you're not getting enough fiber, it's not naturally going to take care of it. And I promise you, there is no cleanse or bottle of goo or metals be gone or whatever metal thing you're going to do that will replace what fiber consistently every single day does for your body. There's nothing. There's nothing that will replace that. Now, is that enough for you? I have no idea. I have no idea. Right now, I am doing, in fact, um, I've been a little nauseated today because of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, can I do the live today? I've been doing a little bit deeper of a cleanse with some EDTA therapy. And it's been amazing. It's not something that everybody needs to hop on, and it's not something that you do before you have chewing your food consistently, proper hydration, magnesium levels, iodine levels. You've got to have some of those basics in before you jump in and do some EDTA therapy. And the sodium EDTA therapy, I've got stuff falling over on my desk here. The sodium EDTA therapy will clear out calcium, magnesium, and aluminum. And the EDTA calcium will clean out lead and mercury. So, depending on which one you're doing, which one's appropriate for you, will absolutely depend on how long you do it. But you don't do those kinds of things until you have your basics in place. Because if you don't have proper hydration, you are going to be miserable. You are not going to feel good. And if you don't have good bile function, well, just kiss goodbye that money because it's not going to make a difference. I see a lot of people using some deworming products right now, and they're sharing all the parasites that they've gotten rid of. Well, they're going to come right back and stronger now because they've created a biofilm to protect themselves from what you just did because you simply don't have bile in place. And if you don't have bile in place, you can't get rid of heavy metals. And all of us have parasites. It's bacteria. We are bacteria. It's keeping them in balance. And bile is what kills off the reproduction of parasites. When I soak after I get done, my knees hurt. So, this can be a lymph issue in your knees, Christine. Magnesium can be shining the light and on a lymph issue. So, one of my favorite things to do when people have experienced that is to do a castor oil pack. Castor oil is a ricinoleic acid, and that ricinoleic acid, there is nothing like it to move lymph. It just moves lymph. And we need to get that lymph flowing and moving. And so typically that's what it is. But again, I'm not diagnosing Christine. I don't know, but typically that's what it is. Um, so making sure that we have those basics set up is what living the good life naturally is all about. Because sometimes we can take our 100 energy points and spend it researching and researching, and then we don't have enough energy to follow through on anything. Or we can take some of our 100 energy points and we can do all of these fancy things because the simple things don't give us a dopamine hit. It was really interesting. We just did a huge opening of course, well, huge to me because I meet one on one with every new person that joins. So it was huge to me because that represented an appointment that needed to be set up, followed through on set, all those kinds of things. And it was really interesting. We had a handful of people, not a lot, but we had a handful of people that quit. They started and then they stopped. And here are the things that they said. Oh, I'm too busy. We got to call that for what it is. It's an excuse. Oh, I couldn't figure out where to start. You start soaking in magnesium. Or the things you were talking about were really simple. Yeah, are you doing them? Well, no, but I need something else. You need a dopamine hit to keep you focused, is what that usually is. And now I'm not saying Core 7's right for everybody. I am saying the simple, basic, powerful things, the small, simple things that are the most powerful, like chewing your food and hydration, you're not going to get a dopamine hit from them. You're not going to. Lorene, if your gallbladder's been removed, will you be able to produce bile? Yes, you can produce bile. You just can't store it. And so that's the difference there. Um, And so one of my pet peeves is after that gallbladder gets taken out, you need to add ox bile for the rest of your life, to make sure that you're getting that increase because the gallbladder will hold the bile. And then as you eat, it will send out more bile. But if your gallbladder's gone, that's not happening. And bile is so foundational to, my hair's all to balanced hormones and those types of things. And so I don't I don't understand why they don't tell people that. So I hope you're taking ox bile, and you'll need to play with it from 1 to 500 milligrams. I always tell people buy the small one first because you might need to take 3 100 milligrams, and then you might end up taking 5 100 milligrams, and then your second bottle you can just buy the 500 milligrams. But you need that ox bile every single time you eat, for optimal health. Oh, you're so welcome. So welcome. Um, but those basic things aren't going to give us a dopamine hit. And if you have ever binged Netflix, if you have ever scrolled social media and spent too much time, or you've thought, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was on that long." That's a dopamine issue. And so is what's happening is you're looking for things to get healthy that constantly keep your dopamine stimulated, and it becomes an addiction, a really powerful addiction because you don't even have to walk down the street to get the drug. Your body's making it. And so you're looking for the next exciting thing that's going to take care of it. Get your basics in. You're not going to get healthy without your basics in. Drink your water, chew your food, soak in magnesium, get your active and your stored vitamin D balance taken care of. Track. We've got to get those basics in. And if we're not recycling our iron, core 7, we're really going to focus on our iron tomorrow and things that we can do to make sure that that's happening. And if we're not doing those things, rebalancing our iron production, making sure that it's working, if we're not, rebalancing our omega-3 fatty acid profile, if we're not doing those things, then you're just going to constantly be chasing symptoms. And I can't tell you how many women that I'll meet 2, 3, 4 years later that'll say, "Oh, Kristen, I wish I would have just stuck with it because now look where I'm at. I'm sicker." Yeah. So don't recognize if you need something new and exciting to stimulate you and you think it sounds boring to count how many times you eat. That's a dopamine addiction, my friend, and it will completely annihilate you from creating health. It's simple, boring, basic things that we need to do. Now, sometimes we need to create other things depending on our bodies because my body's a little bit different than your body. But here's the thing, core seven's focused on things that we all need: proper hydration, proper chewing, proper fiber, proper sleep, making sure that's happening pretty consistently, not perfectly. I can go, well, right now it's really changed. Usually I can go 2 nights a week and stay up late and not be changed. Right now, I'm on a really deep dive on my body, prepping for winter. Like, I think of my grandfather who was a farmer, and man, he was so busy prepping for winter to make sure there was enough food canned and all of those types of things. And I'm using that same pattern of seasonal living, but well, some of my foods can because we do krauts and things. But anyway, I'm using that same pattern of seasonal living. I'm really prepping right now, and it's like a full-time job to get ready for winter because I want to go into winter metabolically adapted and stronger than I've ever been. And the really awesome thing is I'm experiencing that, but I am focusing more on my health. And I've gone from 2 nights a week to only 1 night a week that I can stay up late, but it's really cutting back on the improvement that I was making. And so I turned to my husband and said, "Hey," he loves that Viking show. Have you guys watched that Viking show? It's not one of my favorites, but he loves it, and I love to sit by him while he watches it. And I'm like, "Hey, when you turn that show on, I'm going to go ahead and go to bed because I have this goal, and I feel the momentum change when I stay up late." And so you have to make decisions. You have to determine, is it worth giving up something now? Um, Oh, I I lost my voice, so I'm doing a bunch of detoxing, and I couldn't even talk. It was awful. I couldn't even squeak it out, and I don't know if you can tell, it's still a little husky. My husband says it sounds like Kathleen Turner a little bit. It's still a little bit husky, but that's why I just did the posts, and for someone who talks for a living, it was killing me. It was the longest week of my life. And so I'm really glad to be back on the lives. And it was interesting. The posts didn't get hardly any movement or traction on them, but the lives do. So I'm glad that you enjoy the lives. How do you do that? Lisa, you start at the beginning and you soak in magnesium, you and stay hydrated and learn and it's this subtle shift. In fact, right now we've got 7 people online with us. Tell me if you're game. Let's do a little challenge together right now. We're going to do it together. But you have to trust me because creating health is about building a trust bank. And so I'm asking you, do you trust me that we can do something right now together on this live? So tell me, say, Kristen, I'm in. I trust you, or I'll do it, or I kind of trust you. Tell me though, are you in? Will you do it with me? Because we can do it together right now. And if there's enough of us, if there's enough of you that want to literally create help on this call right now, then we'll do it together. Okay, Lorene says I'm in. She's the leader. Lorene says, yes, I'm in. She was the first one. Rennie is too. Okay. Okay. So have we got a couple more people that are willing to do it? Oh, we had a couple people hop off the live. They're like, no, they feel maybe a little called out. And not, I want to call you out, but here's an important concept. You have to step out of your comfort zone to create something different. And if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone and feel uncomfortable, you're going to have the same level of health tomorrow that you had today. And here's what I know about me tomorrow, my health is going to be better because I totally stepped out of my comfort zone today in some new weightlifting that I did. I was out of my comfort zone and I was like throwing this weight around me. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I drop it, but I trusted the person. Lisa, I love that. I love that. Okay, Christy. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. We are going to do it. So, here we go. This here's what we need to do. I want you to just, if you can, stand up. I'm standing. I popped my standing desk up. So I'm standing. I'm going to grab a little bit of water. If you can grab some water too. Oh, it's a little warm in this room. Grab some water and just take a couple deep breaths. I had to laugh. You'll be really glad that you're not close to me because on EDTA, heavy metal chelation, your breath gets horrible. So as I was blowing out, I was like, oh, I'm really glad that this is alive and I'm not worried about anybody because my breath is really bad. Okay, so far, every woman that I've ever met is chasing help. And so I want you to repeat after me with your hand on your spine because you're the boss. You are the CEO of your body. I'm the CEO of living the good life naturally. But being the CEO of my body requires more than being the CEO of living the good life naturally. You are the CEO. So I want you to put your hand on your spine, the bottom of your spine. And I want you to say, I don't chase things, I attract things. I am attracting better health. I am bringing better health in to me. I am healthy and I'm focused on more health coming in because if you're coming, did you do it? I know it's a really simple thing, but you have to make that shift. People who chase waste time. And if you're out there chasing things, you're wasting your energy points in chasing things instead of energy points in creating health. Stop chasing. In fact, it's not It's not feminine energy to chase. One of the most powerful things about our feminine energy is when we're standing strongly in that feminine energy, and everyone's feminine energy looks different. I'm not saying roses and pink and bows and that kind of stuff. Everyone's feminine energy is different. It's unique to them. But the one of the things that binds us together as women is feminine energy attracts things. It just brings it in. And if you're out there chasing, it's like you're the salmon swimming upstream. It's a lot harder to create health when you're chasing. And when we're chasing, the belief that's driving the chase is I'm not enough. And if you have that belief that's driving your chase of I'm not enough, it doesn't matter how healthy you'll get. It will never be enough for you ever. It's just like it's okay. And let's switch. Oh, how long have I been on? Oh, okay. 31 minutes. Okay, let's tighten this up. Okay, my husband's like, "Don't go over 10 minutes. You shouldn't go over 10 minutes." And here I've gone 20 minutes over. So, I sometimes that's hard for people to put into concrete terms. So let's put that on a different energy that you'll understand. Have you ever felt like you didn't have enough money? Let's put it to money and money energy. Do you feel like that? Is that something you feel a lot? I will remember in the business, I used to feel that a lot in the business. Oh my gosh, how am I going to make payroll? Oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Oh my gosh, now I've got to pay for this. Oh my gosh, now, it was like there was never enough money. And I realized I was chasing. I was chasing things. I wasn't grateful for what I had. And so because of that, I was chasing and I was wasting energy, time, and resources. And so if you haven't stopped to create gratitude for the health you have, you're chasing. If you don't create gratitude on a daily basis and say it out loud and experience it. Now, I experience it in my heart. Some people experience it in their gut. Some people feel it in their shoulders. Some people feel it in their head. Some people feel it in their lower back. I don't care where it is. But if you haven't experienced gratitude today for the health you have, like look at my hands. If I couldn't move my hands, I couldn't think. In fact, one time we were at a stadium and I was down at the bottom talking to someone I really admired, and my kids were clear up at the top and they're like, "Mom, we could tell what you were saying because my hands were going." I am so grateful I can move my hands. Moving my hands helps my brain to think. It helps me connect. What if I didn't have hands to move? Ha, I am so grateful for that. I can just I can feel that right now in my heart. I'm so grateful. I'm incredibly grateful for my hands. If you're not creating at that level gratitude for your health on a daily, you're chasing. I promise you. I promise you, you're chasing. And you can chase and chase and chase and chase, and you will never find enough help because your belief system is set up. There is never enough because you're not acknowledging what you have. If you don't acknowledge what you have, how are you ever going to have enough when you bring it in? And the same goes for money. If if you don't acknowledge 10,000 in the bank, will 100,000 be enough? No, you'll just want more. If you don't acknowledge 100, 500 is not going to make a difference. You just need more and you need more. And sometimes there's these magical numbers. Like for me in the business, I thought, oh, when the business brings in 10,000 a month, oh my gosh, like we're not going to have to worry about anything. Are you kidding me? It brings that in a day. And there's so much more that needs to happen now because of that. With more money comes more responsibility. The same thing with your health. With more health comes more responsibility. And if you're stuck in the state of overwhelm, you're pushing that responsibility away. And the simple thing to do it, and it's simple, it's like drinking water, eating fiber, soaking in magnesium. You actively create gratitude for the health that you have every single day. It's one of the first things that happens in my morning routine. And I bet it's 95% of the time, 95% of the time that I'm actively creating gratitude. And I play this little game, and maybe you'll like this game. Here's my game. And I want you to be thinking, what was the most helpful for you? What was the most helpful? I kind of think of these lives as the same thing my mom used to have when I was a little girl. I'd hide under the quilt, not hide, but I'd lay under the quilts that her and her friends were quilting. They'd quilt those big star quilts. Does anybody have a star quilt? Maybe I'm dating myself. I have a hot pink star quilt, and that my mom and her friends quilted, and they'd all get together. Right now, there's 8 of us together, and this is our little quilting time of connection. We're connecting information. We're connecting to each other. And so there's 8 of us right now. And I want you to share with me what was the most beneficial thing that you learned from this live today. What was the most beneficial thing? And then I'll tell you about the little game. Okay, so while you're thinking of the most beneficial thing that helped you from this 36 minutes, I have to be accountable to my husband and say, I was going to go 10 and I went almost 40. So here's my game. Every morning when I wake up, I want to come up with something different that I'm grateful for. And I try not to repeat it. So I personally write it down in my journal. For those of you that know me, you know I'm a huge journal girl. And I write it down in my journal so that I can look back and read all of the things that I'm grateful for. And I can look back and make sure I haven't doubled anything. And so I went 100 days without replicating anything that I was grateful for. And let me tell you, I got down to my eyelids that closed all the way so that my eyes wouldn't be dry, my eyelashes that kept the dirt out. I mean, I got down to being able to hear my earlobes that carried all of the nerve endings for my heart. I mean, you have to get down to the nitty gritty to do that for 100 days. And I would love for you to do it. I would love for you to do it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, that you need ox bile. Lorene, I am so glad that you are walking away with that bit of information, because those who do not have a gallbladder, it's so important to them. Oh, Christine, you're the CEO of your body. And sometimes when we recognize that, we're like, dang, the building's falling apart. And you have to take responsibility that the buck ends with you. Time to get up and change something. And you can't keep doing the same thing and expect something different. And yes, you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Oh, ox bile, going to the store. So yeah, go for that 100. I have it in my Amazon shop. Our beautiful Shelly had a death in her family, and so she's not with us tonight to post. But if you go Living the Good Life Naturally Amazon, that will bring up my Amazon shop. And I've got the ox bile in there that I really like. Yeah, the CEO. You are the chief executive of your body. And it is a lot of responsibility, and there are a lot of details. Oh, Lisa, ox bile. So if you do not have a gallbladder, bile's crucial to fiber, to hormone balance, to heavy metal detoxification. Fiber is crucial to that. And if you don't have enough bile, you're not, and parasites, a lot of people, I'm seeing lots of stuff online about parasites. And if you don't have enough bile, then you don't stop the reproduction of parasites happening in your body. So it's ridiculous to go do a cleanse because they're just going to regrow and regrow. And every time you do a cleanse without enough bile, you're creating another biofilm. Oh, Lindsay, it's so good to see you. How are you, my friend? How are you? I think of you so often, Lindsay. So good to see you. Yes, our absolute condolences and love to Shelly, and at a time of loss right now. Her family's coming together and connecting over beautiful memories of a family member. So, but that's why the links aren't going up. Oh, Rennie. Okay, this this is why I you just inspired me to keep on, because sometimes I'm like, are people really getting healthier? Like, I talk a lot, but are they getting healthier? Because that's the goal, and that just made me willing to get on and talk some more, because every single person who has not had a gallbladder, so I'm glad 10 people right now, 9 people know right now that if you do not have a gallbladder, you need ox bile. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, Lisa. Lo there and so you Lisa, you gotta go back to the basics, and one of the things, I had it too, and one of the things that you need to do is take everything off your plate that you absolutely don't have to do. Because, and again, I'm going back to 100 energy points. Um, if you don't take anything off your plate and then you're expecting a bunch of your energy points to go to healing after COVID, it's not going to happen. And so you've got to free up energy points to heal. You have to free those up. And it's so, so, so important. Yeah. Yeah, sending our love to Shelly. I will tell her. She will be back on Wednesday, and so I will relay to her the love that was expressed to her. Oh, hello, hello, good evening. So, remember, overwhelm is not an emotion. It's a consequence of decisions and choices that you made. And when you get overwhelmed about your health, your subconscious is using that experience to keep you doing nothing, because your subconscious wants you to be the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And 95% of the time, we are operating from our subconscious. In fact, I um I did a podcast with an attorney from Buffalo. I was a guest on her show, and I really enjoyed this podcast. I do a couple of podcasts a week, and I have to admit, sometimes it's just the same podcast. It's like, oh my gosh, that was the same 3 questions. How could I have made my answers different? Because it just sometimes just feels like the same thing. But she was really good at asking questions. And she said, "Why is it that some people fall apart with their health and others don't?" And you know what it comes down to? It's not attention span, it's not how much money you have, it's how embedded your systems are. How embedded your systems are. Because when life gets crazy busy, you'll fall back, and your weakest system will be what you fall back to. And so let's say your food prep is not a strong system. Then when everything gets crazy, your food prep will be the first thing that goes. And so you're only as healthy as your weakest system. And so making sure those systems are strong and they're manageable and they've become such a part of you that they've gone from a system to a habit, from a system to a habit. Yes, your energy points. Yep. And you've got to take as much as you can off of that plate, as much as you can. Oh, that's so great. Rennie, that is, oh my gosh. I just can't tell you what that means to me. So, have you been measuring your insulin numbers? Because one of the things that I think is really powerful that stops women from creating optimal health is insulin resistance. And we need those insulin numbers down in the morning. And it's interesting, Rennie, there is a connection to insulin resistance and non-alcoholic fatty liver. And so usually when once insulin resistance has kicked in, then it backs up to the liver and we get liver issues. And so an hour of walking every day is so powerful. I know mine in the fall, last fall, mine went up because I was glued to my TV, being stressed out, everything that was happening in the world. And I can't believe the cascade of what happened. And so, Lisa, this is something that's going to be so powerful for you as you heal is well, and those of you, I don't know where you're from, but I know my daughter right now in Utah, she's just like, Mom, it's not even worth it to go outside. The air quality is so bad. So you have to balance that, but you've got to get movement. You've got to get movement and movement in a way that won't overstress you, Lisa, especially where you're recovering. So you've got to make sure you're getting that movement in. Oh, thank you. That is so sweet. Okay. Thyroid and red blood cell levels were off. Oh, your CRP's up. Too much stress. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Lindsay, are you able to get good sunshine in? Because that's one of the most powerful things that you can do. We gotta keep you healthy, Lindsay, for all the good that you do for your patients. Yeah, so that's good. Um, Hope to get better sooner. So do you know what your numbers were after your soaking? That's a hard one for me to answer, without having more background on you. That's a hard one for me to answer. And so it definitely, when I get sick, it definitely is the first thing that gets added back in because magnesium opens up, detoxification pathways. So it's something that I do. The walking was helping. Oh, okay. So, you're in the where are you at, Lindsay? Lindsay's, is it called a rotational nurse, Lindsay, where you go you move to different places? But yeah, get that AM walk, a good hour. We want and that sunshine is so powerful. My C-reactive protein, which shows inflammation levels in your body, went up also in the fall because I was sitting and watching what was happening and my stress levels went up and my movement went down and it was like a catastrophe in my body. And so that sunshine is so powerful. Oh, good. Lindsay got the D Minder app. Yay. Getting vitamin D. Oh, D levels were low. Okay. So here's the thing. Most of us, depending on where you live, we've got a window that's open right now for our vitamin D. And I know today I spent a full hour out in the sun because I'm really wanting my numbers boosted and we want those numbers higher than 23. A travel nurse. Okay, I used the wrong terminology. Oh, Maria. So orally, absolutely, you can take it orally, but you're missing most of the benefits of magnesium because orally it's synthetic, it's been pulverized, heated, put into a pill so it's convenient to ship to you, and it can't get you to cell saturation. And I'm not about synthetic nutrition. I had somebody, on my email list that sent me a big thing. Oh, what's his name? I know many of you would know him. Wallach. And he's got great information, but there's no way I'm going to take his stuff because it's all synthetic nutrition. And I'm really anti synthetic nutrition and do everything I can to stay away from it. And so, because it's a short term benefit, but a long term consequence, it rotates different in our body and it doesn't have the cofactors that's needed. And so, soaking is what we do here, Maria, soaking. And absolutely you can take it orally. Oh, Palm Springs. So you're loaded with sunshine. It was so interesting, Lindsay. I was because I've got this little spot behind my home that I go and now I'm not saying this is right for you. This is right for me. This next thing I'm going to talk about. I was getting my afternoon sun when the UV is at its highest. Now, I can do that because I don't eat sugar. If and I have a good fatty acid profile. If you don't have that, then being out in the sun in the afternoon just causes massive issues. And so I was out in the sun and a lady came out and said, "Oh, that sun will age you." And I said, "Oh, you're right. I 100% agree. The sun will age you if you're eating the standard American diet. But if you're not, it's optimal healing right there." Oh, that's great. That's great that you're doing those morning walks. Oh, Maria, you're so welcome. Welcome to court to Living the Good Life Naturally. It's where we put common sense back into place and we focus on gratitude because literally changing our gratitude levels changes the way that our minerals work in our body. I mean, how powerful is that? The way we create, the thoughts that we think, how we manage our stress determines our minerals. And health is all about remineralizing our body. And it's what I'm focused on. And it's wow. Today was a full day because there was lots of things besides just getting ready for winter for me. And it's worth it though. And that's where I choose to put my investment and my time. So love being with you. Um, do I have to totally fess to my husband? Instead of 10 minutes, I went 51. I don't think I'm going to full on fess. I'll see if he remembers to ask. And then if he does, I'll tell him, but I'm not going to bring it up myself. I hope you have a great day. Those of you in course 7, if you can't be on the call live tomorrow, please listen to the recording because we're going to hit some real basics to make sure that we're prepped to go into winter strong. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. That's so great. Lindsay, love you back. Love you, love you, love you back. And thank you for everything you do as a traveling nurse to help take care of people. So have the best evening. Get good sleep tonight. Make sure you go to bed in a room that's really, really dark so that melatonin can kick in and then wake up in the morning really strong so that you've got a really strong circadian rhythm because replacing that circadian rhythm with what's naturally happening with the light is a part of creating the good life and living the good life naturally. Bye bye, guys. Oh, I will tell him, Lorene. I think he's like, Kristen, yes, I will. When I lost my voice, Maria, when I lost my voice, we just did posts. We didn't do videos. And so, yes, I will. And I'm on YouTube right now. It's streaming to YouTube and to Facebook. And so, absolutely, yes. Now that my voice is back and I can talk and people can understand me, and is what we'll do. Shelly and I were talking about maybe I'll do just some little short ones to put up because they're on a playlist on YouTube. And so it just goes from one to the other to the other. And so we'll add the days that we're missing on anyway, we've got a couple different ideas of what we can do. But for the rest of the month, there's a couple nights that my husband and I are getting away for a couple of nights up to Big Sur, one of our favorite places. It's just right up the road from us. And so a couple of them will be a pre-recorded video. But yeah, and we're almost to the end of our 30-day challenge. So it's been great being with you. And remember, good sleep, simple habits, don't chase it. I am attracting more health to me. I don't chase anything. And that will help all of us stand in that place of feminine energy and be more connected because healthy women are connected women. Bye. Hey, Mr. Lou, you want to? Oh, there you go. Oh, you're such a good boy.